Hello everybody and welcome to Ednie. We're located near St Fergus, Peterhead in Aberdeenshire. The farm of Ednie has been in my family for over 100 years now, and Peter and I have been here farming since the early 1990s. The farm runs to about 1,400 acres and we are a mixed farm. We are split between arable with about 600 plus acres of arable crops every year, and we have about 300 acres of grass, which is for our suckler cows. We've got a herd of 160 Aberdeen Angus Cross high health suckler cows. We also grow some grass for the local anaerobic digester plant, and we have about 160 acres of trees, which were initially grown for paper pulp and now we use for biomass. An important thing that we did about 10 years ago was to diversify into renewable energy, and we have 7 wind turbines on the farm now, and that's now an important part of our business. We also have the biomass, which we use for drying our grain, and we have solar panels which supplies all of the electricity for farm purposes.
I think we can see the direction of travel that the industry is going in, and we're going to be using more technology as we go on. We've always been a farm that's looked at new technology and tried to keep ahead of the game, and the fact that this project was supported by SOS and Smart Rural was very attractive to us.
There's so much data collection that you can do now, so many opportunities. It was really trying to figure out what would be applicable to the farm here, what would be useful to our business. And it's been really important for us to have the support to put these sensors in place and get them working. I think as we go forward, we're seeing more and more people having to do lone working. And there's a couple of different applications of the sensor technology that can help us safeguard people.
I think the other thing that the industry's got a big challenge with going forward, and all industry in the UK and the world has, and it's climate change. And I think that sensor technology can allow us to start to measure, what is our climate impact, and how can we reduce our CO2 emissions and our use of fuel, our use of fertilisers, our use of chemicals. And I think sensor technology can start to do that. If we can measure what we are using and how efficiently we are using it, then I think we can start to build up a picture. And once we've got the figures, then you can start to make meaningful cuts in the CO2 emissions and the impact that agriculture is having on the climate.
A main barrier is really knowing which sensor to go for. I think you can really get bamboozled by the number of sensors that are out there. But I think you've really got to choose something that's going to be useful for your own situation. And having Smart Rural and SOS is really important for that, because they've got a lot of experience. But also another barrier is really getting them implemented on farms, setting them up. Not everybody is all that technically enabled. I mean, we're certainly not. And having the support to actually put them on farm, get them implemented, get them up and running and working, that's a really big thing. We've had a small group of neighbouring farmers involved in our project here, about half a dozen people, and we've shared some of the learning points with them, some of the issues we've had in deploying these, and we've found that sort of peer learning has been very useful in getting the project up and running for us.
The challenges have been the same as everybody else has had. It's the COVID-19 situation. I mean, there have been issues with batteries, and we've also had a fault with one of the main aerials that collect the data. But SOS have got a good technical team on board, and they seem to sort things out fairly quickly.
It has come through on the lone working aspect with two means really. We've got vehicle trackers on two of our main vehicles, a tractor and a loader, and that helps us to see where members of staff are on the farm. We can check at different times and make sure that they are in the fields we think they should be in. And we've also got the lone worker beacons that we've been trialling with two people, Peter and our main guy.
The other sensors that we've got deployed are temperature and humidity sensors in the vaccine fridge, and we've got temperature and humidity sensors in the grain store as well. And that sort of work it's quite difficult to build into the daily routine. The sort of grind of having to collect that data has really been taken away. It's done automatically, and it appears in the dashboard that we have in the computer, and that data is there that we can give to quality assurance people when they arrive on farm.
And another one we have is the soil sensors, which are looking at soil moisture and also soil temperature. And I think as we go forward, it'll be very useful to build up a picture of how the temperature progresses through the season, and we can use that to time when we put on our nitrogen. Hopefully it'll allow us to increase the efficiency of nitrogen use, reduce wastage, and so help to improve our bottom line profitability.
I've always felt that the weather data is pretty important to us as farmers. So the weather station installed on the farm is collecting all that data for us without much effort at all. It happens automatically. If we need it, we can just go into the dashboard and select what we need: temperature, humidity, how much rain there's been overnight, etc. One of the issues with this unit here is it's remote from the main farm, so we're only here once in 24 hours. And one of the issues is that if there is a water trough leaks, then by the time you come back after 24 hours, the whole cattle courts are flooded, and there's a lot of work to actually muck out the courts and sort the water pipes. So one of the cases that we're going to deploy here is a remote sensor that'll sense if a water trough starts to leak. Then we'll get a signal to a phone telling us that there's an issue over here, and we can go over and sort the problem. So to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to measure how much water the cattle are actually taking on average in an average day, so that we've got a base level of water usage, and then we'll be able to set the sensor to know when there's an issue over here. And the team at SOS have actually developed bespoke equipment to actually do that measuring, so that should be deployed within the next couple of weeks, we're hoping.
Well, I think as far as looking at the data that we've collected is concerned, there are two means of seeing it at the moment, depending on which sensors. And I think both are really useful. So for the vehicle tracker, that comes up on an app on the phone, and I think that's really handy because you can see that when you're on the go. You can just quickly look at that, and it's totally real time. The other sensors, like the soil moisture data and the fridge vaccine data, that's all on a dashboard on our PC, so we can go into the office and check that out.
I think early on when we got involved with this project, one of the big drivers has been safety. The lone worker has really been a huge sort of relief to us and a weight off our minds, because we want to make sure that everybody comes to work and goes back safe every day. All these technology things, what you think they're going to be used for and what they end up being used for can often be quite different.
So I think we will see more economic benefits coming out as we go forward with it.